Yeah, I'll just check the link to make sure the audio is good. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. So you got to click on the one that says part 2. All right. Is the audio is good? Okay. All praises. For some reason, is not allowing me to click on this thing. But y'all said the audio is good. Let me just back check it real quick. Just back check it real quick. Sounds good. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, for some reason it ain't allowing me to click on it. So send me the link. Send me the link for the part 2 in WhatsApp. That's part 2? Okay, that's part 2. All right. All praises. All praises. Let me make sure the audio. Testing, testing. 1 2 1 2. All right, sounds good. All right. Give me the last verse again.
Reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 4. And by thy sword shall thou live, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
So that was the prophecy given to Esau, that he would live by the sword. Y'all get the point? So now, question. When it comes to Esau's blessing, what does that look like today? Based on the blessing that he got. What does that look like today? Listen, the reason why Esau is able to change times and laws is because of this blessing that he got. He was given dominion. He was given rulership for a certain time. Y'all get the point? So now, that part, let me go back to, read the beginning of the last verse again for me. When it says,
and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
No. Read the first part of the last verse. Go ahead.
And verse 27, 40. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother.
What does that mean? By the sword he's going to live. By the sword he's going to live. Hello, hello, hello. Am I talking to myself? Okay, he'll be killing through what? Through what means? Okay, he run things. Soldier Gamaliel. Through what means will Esau rule by the sword? It says, no, sorry, it says, and by the sword shalt thou live. So through what means is that talking about? Somebody said something, but hold on. Military, what? That's Colonel helping you or that's you? That was you? You sure? Okay. You sure? Don't lie on the Sabbath. Or any day for that matter. But yes, the military, through war, through conquering. That's when you read Daniel 7. It said when his kingdom shall take dominion. It's talking through the rulership that they obtain through war. They have a great, very great big military, Brother Cuthbert, that it goes into people's country and just takes over. By the sword shall Esau live. When Esau wants something, he goes and he takes it. He shall serve his brother. Right. So that ain't happened yet, though. He's going to serve you. You understand that? He's going to serve when God puts him in chains and in captivity. He's going to serve you. Right now, you're serving him. You get the point? So that part where he's serving you, that ain't come to pass yet. You understand that? That's a future prophecy. Right. You get the point? Right. So right now you're serving him. When he comes off the boat, you got to go and carry him on a scenic railway tour, carry him to his hotel room, carry him up the steps and say, is that all for you? Can I carry your bag some more? You got to serve him right now. But in the new kingdom, there's going to be a time where he has to serve you. How long? How long he going to serve you? How long? 1,000 years, right? But what's going to happen to them after the 1,000 years, though? What's going to happen to them? Who knows? They're going to be cut off forever. Yes. When you read the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 18, they're going to be cut off forever. All right? Give me the book of 1 Kings 18 and 21. 1 Kings 18 and 21.
Reading from the book of 1 Kings, chapter 18 and verse 21. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions?
Oh, how long have you been between two opinions? Come on.
If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him.
Stop right there. How many people that you actually know? They say they read the Bible, but they still celebrate pagan traditions. That hand went up fast. Because everybody hand should go up fast because everyone would tell you they believe in God, but guess what? They're going to celebrate New Year's next week, Tuesday. This is people in between two minds. Was Paul dealing with this? With people who was in between, like, they understand what the Jews do, but they also understand what the Romans do. Paul had to be in the synagogue doing what with them? Disputing and having a fiery back and forth with them. Like, how could you say you believe in the Bible, but you're still about to go celebrate New Year's next week, Tuesday? It's madness. Any of you had put up any of the Christmas posts on your status? Did any? Okay, one sister. Okay, one brother. Soldier Commander, you didn't put up no posts? You put up posts? Anybody message you? I mean, on your WhatsApp. On your WhatsApp. Ah, remember? Your Instagram, nobody really know you on there. That's like foreign people that ain't really. You put that up on your WhatsApp, you're going to get some messages from people that know you. They'll be like, wait. What do you mean? What do you mean Christmas is pagan? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Explain yourself. They're going to come for you. But that's what you want. Because now they're now accountable for the thing that they just saw on your WhatsApp. So guess what? Everyone that saw your post, they're now marked. They're now marked, meaning that they're now accountable for that which they now know. And if they go and do it now, they're going to be accountable in the Most High's eyes. So you're helping to mark people. You're helping prophecy to come to pass Soldier Gamaliel, when you put these things up on your personal WhatsApp, right? Now, of course, if you got people from work that you don't want, of course, you could control who you want to see your stuff and who you don't want to see your stuff. But if it ain't work persons, just you could take off all the work persons. Everybody else, let them see it. Let them see it and weep. You understand that? But again, Elijah came to all the people and said, how long are you going to be between two opinions? If you're going to follow God, follow him. But if Baal, now, what's the name of Baal? It's an idol god. But Baal, is it a specific god? No. It can be categorized as any idol god that's not the Most High God. All right? Baal. Give me 1 Corinthians 8 and verse 5. 1 Corinthians 8 and verse 5. 1 Corinthians 8, verse 5.
Reading from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 5. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many, and lords many.
Question, are there many gods? Okay. Are there many gods? Yes, the answer is yes. There are many gods. Are there many gods, Cuthbert? There you go. There's only one. Okay, so what does the word God mean? Like, don't get like all mystified when you hear the word God. I know when we growing up, that word God is only attributed to the Most High God, but the word God just means power. Now, the other nations were given their own deities to follow, right? Now, read that again. It says, For though
be they that are called gods.
They're called gods. Watch this.
Whether in heaven or in earth. As there be gods many.
There be gods. So there are many gods.
And lords many.
And there are lords many.
But to us there is but one God.
But to us, that's in the truth. There's one God. Read on.
The Father of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord Jesus Christ, by whom all things, and we by him.
So there are many gods that are called gods, but for us who in the truth, there's only one living true God, which is, he has a name. His name is Yahweh. In the modern Yiddish English, they call him Jehovah, but that word Jehovah, the letter J, only came into existence in the year 1623. So if the letter J was not included in the alphabet prior to 1623, and all the J's were Y's. That's why his name is not Jesus, but Yahweh Shai in the Hebrew. His name is not Jehovah, but Yahweh. That's what get the YHWH, the tetragrammaton, Yahweh. Right. Give me Exodus 12 and verse 1. Before you get that, let me just give you like a couple seconds of this video. Let me just fast forward to get to the point.
On the culture. High length. Well, in every culture, the calendar has a great impact on the culture, highlighting important events, influential people, the change of seasons, and holidays. In Western culture, we use the Gregorian calendar.
So in Western culture, we use the Gregorian calendar from Pope Gregory. All right? He implemented that.
And as you'll see in this moment in history, the calendar is massively influenced by Christianity. Let's explore the history and background of the calendar of Western civilization, the Gregorian calendar.
So if they changed the New Year from March to January, why did they do that? Because the original calendar had in more months, but they needed to cut it down. All right?
Now, to know something about the calendar, we have to know a little something about the man for which it is named, Pope Gregory XIII.
Pope Gregory XIII. That's where you get the Gregorian calendar from.
Gregory reigned over the Catholic Church during one of the most tumultuous times in Christian history, the 16th century. when the Protestant Reformation began to weaken the tight grip that the church had held over Europe throughout the Middle Ages. Gregory himself was a controversial figure. He is one of the few popes in history to have been known to have fathered a child during his life. He also lived a very long time for someone in this time period. He was born in 1502 and died in 1585, living to the age of 83. Sadly, Gregory was also infamous for supporting the terrible St. Bartholomew's Day massacre of 1572, where French Catholics murdered French Huguenots or Protestants in Paris, the same year Gregory was elected to the throne of St. Peter. But his most famous and influential act of his life and his papacy was his authorization of a new Western calendar.
Good. So he authorized a new Western calendar. So again, you're going to find out from the Bible, the springtime is where the new year begins. The springtime is where the new year begins.
Now, up until this time in history, Europe had used the Julian calendar, created by the Roman dictator Julius Caesar in 46.
So Julius Caesar, his calendar, the Julian calendar, is what came before the Gregorian calendar.
BC. This Roman influence is where we get the names of our months, and these names survived the crossover. Now, Gregory's main reason for changing to a new system has to do with two very important things. The first being the scientific revolution of the times. Scientists realized that Julius's...
So these Edomite scientists, they saw a need to change the times. We read in Daniel 7 that they're going to seek to change the what? The times. Who will do this? Those who rule the earth. The wicked rule the earth.
Original calculation for matching the calendar year with the solar year was off slightly, so a recalibration was necessary.
So they found a recalibration to be necessary because they thought, based on the solar calendar, it was off.
Now, the second reason has to do with this recalibration, but also much more so in keeping with Christian holy days and keeping them in their right place. Namely,
so they wanted to keep the Christian holy days intact, so they had to reform the whole calendar.
Was the celebration of Easter. Gregory realized that the celebration day of the Lord's resurrection, meant for centuries to be celebrated near the spring equinox, was moving further and further away from that date with each passing year. Gregory's goal was to move Easter back to its original date of celebration.
So we don't celebrate Easter. We celebrate what? Easter is not an Israelite custom. Easter is an Edomite custom from the Romans. Herod, they celebrated Easter. Israelites celebrate what? Passover. We don't celebrate Easter. Oh, well, you're not supposed to. You've been celebrating it as a youngster. Bunnies don't lay eggs. Again, bunnies don't lay eggs. Bunnies and eggs and chocolate has nothing to do with the Bible. You understand that? So Easter is not something that comes from the Bible. It comes from the Romans.
And this was the initial idea that spawned the creation of a new calendar. So in 1582, Gregory instituted his new calendar in the Papal States and other Catholic regions in Europe. Many Catholic nations picked it up right away, but Protestant-denominated nations were not so quick. England, for example, did not formally institute the Gregorian calendar until the year 1752.
So they didn't implement that Gregorian calendar until 1752 in the UK.
24 years before the birth of the United States. Russia did not adopt the new calendar until 1918. Of course, we use the Gregorian calendar here as well in the United States, which inherited it from Britain when we broke.
They inherited it from Britain. The states inherited it from Britain because the 8th came out of the 7th. The 8th came out of the 7th, right? America came out of Britain, right? There you go. So you wouldn't be keeping New Year's Day if you didn't have the Brits to thank for that go back to the Romans to thank for that.
Away in 1776. Thanks so much for joining me once again.
That's it on that. Give me Exodus 12 and 1 now. Go ahead. Exodus 12, verse 1.
Reading from the book of Exodus chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, verse 2, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
The beginning of months. The beginning of months. Read on.
It shall be the first month of the year to you.
The first month of the year to you. To you. That's the first month of the year. Let's see what it is. Read on.
Verse 3. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers. A lamb for an house.
So this is talking about in the springtime, right? What are they taking the lamb for? Passover. Read on.
Verse 4. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbors next unto his house take it according to the number of souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb.
So in Passover we have lamb, we have unleavened bread. It's celebrated in the springtime, the beginning of the months of the years. It says it right there in verse 2. It says, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. That's in the springtime. Let's get Deuteronomy 16 and verse 1. Deuteronomy 16, verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 1.
And reading from the book of Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 1. Observe the month of Abib.
The month of?
Abib.
The month of?
Abib.
Month of Abib. Abib. A-B-I-B. Abib. Come on.
And keep the Passover unto thy Lord.
Keep the Passover in the month of Abib. We just read that's the beginning of months. That's in the springtime. So Abib marks the beginning of the new year, which is in the spring. That's when all things are new again. Grass comes out, the leaves come out, the animals come back out, the ice melts. Springtime is on us when, you know, the grass is green again. The butterflies are out. The birds are chirping. That's all things are new again. Nature has renewed itself. Read on.
For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
Good. In the month of Abib, that's when God brought you out of the land of Egypt. All right? Let's get Exodus 23 and verse 15. Exodus 23 and verse 15.
Reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 15.
Come on.
Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread.
Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days.
So the feast of unleavened bread and the Passover, they run concurrently together. Read on.
As I command thee in the time appointed of the month of Abib.
Okay, so it says in the month of
Abib.
Abib. Right. So that is talking about in the springtime, you're going to celebrate your unleavened bread. You're going to celebrate the Passover. Both of them run concurrently together. All right? So on the first night, that's the Passover. And for the next 7 days, it's the what? Feast of unleavened bread. That's coming up in the spring. That's going to be around March. All right? Around March. And we're absolutely going to keep the Passover. So, Brother Cuthbert, you have to keep the Passover. The scriptures say if you don't keep the Passover, you will be cut off from your people. It's a commandment. It's not a suggestion. It's not something that you might think about doing. If you don't do it, you're going against the commandment. The first month of the year is going to be in March. So the new year in the Bible is in March. Springtime. Yes, springtime. When all things become new again, nature renews itself, the ice has melted. For those who live in the colder temperate regions, that's when the new year is. That's the month you were born. All praises. All praises. So now you must keep the Passover, everyone. And those of you that's watching at home right now, you must keep the Passover. So get yourselves organized and prepared. In a few months, the Passover will be upon us, and you must keep it. All right? The unleavened bread is for 7 days. What you're going to do is remove all the leaven from your house. Remove all the leaven. Leaven is anything with any rising agent. It's talking about, crackers and bread and cakes. And now you can make unleavened versions of those things once the unleavened bread feast starts. But you're going to remove all the leaven from your house. All right? So read on. What verse that was? 15? 15. Good. So drop it. Give me Exodus 34 and verse 18. Exodus chapter 34 and verse 18. Exodus 34 verse 18.
Reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 34 and verse 18. The feast of unleavened bread shall thou keep. 7 days shall thou eat unleavened bread.
7 days you're going to eat unleavened bread. So every day in the unleavened bread feast, you're going to eat some unleavened bread. Get yourselves organized. I don't want to hear a cap. Yesterday passed and I didn't eat no unleavened bread because of get yourself organized. Last year you had some people forget all about the feast of unleavened bread and say, oh, me, I ain't eating none today. You have to eat unleavened bread every day within the feast of unleavened bread. If you don't know how to make it yourself, get yourself organized early this year and tell yourself, if there's some sisters in the congregation that's making some, put your order in early. Let them know, hey, organize it, get it sorted out. All right? If it's a sister that has a husband, just talk with her husband. All right? Sisters love to cook around that time and make that thing. So, it says, the feast of unleavened bread you're going to keep.
7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread.
You have to eat it for 7 days. Come on.
As I commanded thee.
You were commanded to do this.
In the time of the month of Abib.
The beginning of months, which is Abib, which is in the springtime, in March, April, around that time. Come on.
For in the month of Abib thou comest out from Egypt.
Because in that month of Abib you came out from Egypt. So that's a very significant month. All right? It's the beginning of year. So your new year begins when? In Abib. Y'all get the point? So don't want to hear nobody talking about they're celebrating New Year on January 1st. That's false. That's giving credence unto Janus. All right? I don't see any questions in the chat, on the live chat. So if we do have any questions from anyone that's watching on the live, you can ask right now. All right? Any questions in the live? Any questions in the live? No questions. Any questions in-house? Any questions that we have here in-house? Any questions? Brother DeAndre, go ahead. Shalom, brother. Most and Christ bless. They were from the line of Shem, correct. They will be Shemites, correct. 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 For any questions, be sure to ask it on the mic. You know, we're going to try to get a wireless mic organized. All right? So for those of you that's watching at home, yes, we need all the arms we can get so that we can get all the peripherals. You see how much struggles we're going through, Israel? But we're working with what we got. Lives cutting off, cores got shorts in them, things popping down on us. It's all right, though. All through the Spirit, we're working with what we got. But we pray that the Most High put that Spirit on you, man, to further what, you know, is happening with how we're trying to bring out this word, so we can, you know, really bring this thing in a spirit of perfection, all right, spirit of excellence, all right. The brother was asking essentially, if Jacob and Esau, because prior to the 12 tribes being born, what lineage would they be? They would be Shemites, all right. Esau come from Shem as well. You got to understand that. Jacob comes from Shem, all right? So when you're going to say things like, oh, you're being anti-Semite. These are people that come from Shem. The people saying the comments and the people they're saying the comments about. They come from Shem. They are all Shemites. All right? So there's no anti-Semitism involved. All praises. Any other questions in-house? Brother Daniel, you look like you got a question. You got a question you want to ask? You asked a question last week. What if you go in a church on December 31st? Will God be angry at you? Yes, he would be, because you're giving credence unto a God called Janus. You just learned about Janus. Janus is a two-faced god of the Romans. All right? The Romans of antiquity, they had him as a two-faced god, one facing the future, one facing the past. They built these archways that their military used to march through for good luck. All superstition. It's all superstition. You going in a church on December 31st at 11:59, that's superstition. That's not giving credence to Yahweh. That's giving credence to your superstitious beliefs. So you're putting superstitious beliefs over Yahweh. That's what you do when you're going to church on December 31st, 11:59. You get the point? So don't do it. All right? Any other questions? Soldier Gabar? Most in Christ bless soldier. Mm-hmm. No, because the Hebrew names of the months, them go by the vegetative season, whether it's wheat coming in, barley, grain, first fruits, it all goes by the name of the, whatever the vegetation was around that time. Not necessarily, because if you go back to the Gregorian calendar, right? October was the 8th month, right? November was the what? 9th month. December was the 10th month, because DEC, Decagon, 10, October, 8, right? So January was really which month? If December is the 10th month, there you go. So this January is really the 11th month. February is really which month? 12th. February would be what? February would be the 12th? Sorry, I made a mistake. February would be the 12th. And then March would be the 1st. There you go. First month. But remember, Rome changed it from March to January. Yeah, we watched that in the video. It really starts in March, around March, April, like in the mid. It wasn't like a definitive date. It would be whenever that first wheat chaff come in, they'll be like, spring is here. You know, like in America, that they could tell when spring is here when the thing come out of the ground. What's it called? The animal. What's the animal called? The groundhog. Whenever they see the groundhog, it's like, yes, spring is here. So for us, whenever that first wheat chaff come through, we know that's the springtime. Abib, it goes into ear of corn, like corn, ear, young ear corn. That's what it goes into. When you see that first ear of wheat or corn, that's when all things are new and refreshed again. All right, so that word Abib just goes into that. All right? It's a good question, by the way. What does Abib mean? Some of the names of the months got some names of the Babylonian gods as well, that they used in the Bible. All right? Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, watch. Right. See right here. Abib translates to green ears in Hebrew. What green ears though? If you're a planter, you know what that is going into. Here you go. Whether it was corn, whether it was barley, whether it was oats, whether it was, you understand, wheat, So it says, this refers to the time when the barley begins to ripen in the fields, signifying the start of the spring season. That's what Abib means. Right? First fruits is usually like in the summertime. Around that time, right. Right. That's reaping time. Ah, there you go. There you go. That's reaping time. First fruits. And in first fruits, what do? What's the significance behind first fruits, Soldier Gamaliel? The significance of it. Why is it called first fruits? And then why are you giving that to God? Because what does God require? Require your best. Give the soldier a hand, man. All praises. He wants your best. But don't just think of giving your best only at first fruits. Give your best all throughout the year. Give 100% all throughout the year. All right. So, if we ain't got no other questions, let me just check the chat real quick. All right. It don't seem like we got any questions in the live. All right. So, we're going to close out today. We want to thank you. This has been JANUS, God of the New Year. I hope y'all got a little bit more understanding on this thing now. Don't go celebrate that thing. You understand where it comes from. You understand what it's going into. Don't go celebrate that thing. All right? All praises to the Most High. We want to thank you. The links and in the description can show you where you want to give your alms, your contribution. As you can see, Israel, we need your contributions, man, because as you can see, we got some technical issues that we got to work out and sort out. But we can do it with your help. So let the Most High use you to allow his blessings to flow through even in the midst of these technical issues, all right? All praises. So with that, we're going to close out. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, email us, tocisraelites@gmail.com. Continue enjoying the rest of your Sabbath. If your Sabbath already passed, all praises. If your Sabbath is on the way, we say shalom and happy Sabbath to you when it comes. And with that, we close out. Shalom.